Now, should we briefly touch on the old restrictions that are supposed to be ending? Or should we
Go on
say
then.
partially ending, but of course the main ones are still going to remain because this is Boris Johnson and this government. They're never going to relinquish the powers they've got. Although, in fairness to them, I suppose I'll be charitable. They have released some of the ones that people were concerned about, but they should just remove them all, in my opinion. And I'm sure your opinion's the same on that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, as far as I'm aware, Sweden are about to lift all of their restrictions, every single one of them.
What you mean, the very few and limited ones that they had in the beginning?
Yep, they're getting rid of all of them now.
I know Norway is, if that's what you're thinking of there, but Sweden had
No, I'm
very
sure
few.
it's Sweden.
Norway's getting rid of theirs as well, or it might be Denmark. I can't remember exactly which one. I did see an article about it the other day, but they're completely removing them all, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, with this one, apparently Boris is saying there will be no more lockdowns, which, like I said with the old Vax passport, I'll believe it when I see it. This is not something I'm ever going to take at face value from these proven liars at this point.
Yeah, it makes me want to go prepping. Dry food, anyone?
I wouldn't quite go that far just yet. But
No,
apparently
I'm
the laws are being scaled back somewhat and also removing the ability to close schools, which I know will make parents happy. Unions and
That is
teachers,
good.
probably not, but the parents and the kids, they're going to be happy because they're going to be able to go to school, see their friends, and their mental health won't suffer as much as it has done over the past 18 months with the bullshit that we're living through. Obviously,
Yeah,
they're
and
still
then the
going to suffer a
main
bit.
issue then is catching up on their education, isn't it?
Well, I feel that's something that's not realistically going to happen, is it? How are they going to catch up on almost 2 years of practically completely missed school?
Yeah, I think it's tutoring's the only option, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but
Really,
then
to
who's
get
paying
anywhere
for
close.
that? Who's paying for that?
Exactly,
And
exactly.
we already these bloody communists here are already spending enough money as it is. Last thing we need is them doing that, unless they're paying for it out of their own pocket. I'll take all these MPs having to fund tutoring. I'll take that right away.
Yeah,
We'll go
I
with
can't
that. The
see that
media
happening
as well.
anytime soon. Can you?
Every single media fuck pig who has promoted this bullshit and gone along with it and not called it out when they should and not called out the blatant lies that the government has done. Anyone like that, you should be paying for the fucking consequences of it. Of course, we're paying for the
Yeah, the fair
consequences of it in
porn,
tax now,
the
aren't
fair
we?
porn merchants.
Yeah, we
Every
can't
single one
charge
of
the
them.
BBC because they're taking money off people anyway. Although actually they do have a commercial arm that sells their shit over in America and places like that. So we'll take all the funding from that and they can just kick back some of the crap shows that they're making.
We need more people power with the BBC. That's all it takes. We just need to cancel.
Well, apparently hundreds of thousands are already doing it. So maybe they're just going to get a slow demise. Maybe it won't be a quick one
it
with them.
was 200,000 last year, I think, if I remember rightly. That
Was it 200,000? I'll take that.
200,000.
I'll take that. It's always good news.
Oh
Now,
yes.
obviously, with this, one of the good things that they've removed is the can no longer detain potentially infectious people. Very shifty thing to have ever introduced in my mind, but it's a good thing that that's gone because shit, that could give these lunatics carte blanche to literally do whatever they want, as I'm sure you would know.
Zero punishment. Yeah, that's a cracking idea.
Yeah, like you're potentially infectious, not you are infectious, potentially. That's so broad, it's unreal. That's just could be anybody. At the end of the day, every person in the country is technically potentially infectious. I don't care. Now, another important
what the
thing,
doctors have done, isn't it?
yeah, another important thing that they've done, I'm not sure if you're aware of, is they're not going to be able to restrict events or gatherings at all. Now, this is obviously a claim. We don't know this for certain, but
I hope that's true.
That's the end of banning you from seeing your family and friends. Like I said, they claim. Don't take what I'm saying as a
we've got to remember
guarantee.
that a party of yo-yoers.
Yeah, and let's be honest, even though Sajid Javid is there now or not Matt Hancock, the bullshit has still flowed freely. Maybe not to the same degree.
Changed.
Maybe not to the same
just
degree.
delivers it better.
But the bullshit is still there. He's literally just a Matt Hancock 2.0 without being as fucking. I don't even know what you would call it.
That was going to happen anyway. I suspected it was just going to be a replacement.
Yeah, a replacement with just a little slightly different tone, as where Matt Hancock let the power go to his head. Sajid Javid is trying to keep public relations disasters literally down to a minimum, because that is the way you don't end up like Matt Hancock with a camera in your office looking down at what you're up to. With your
Did you ever find out who put that camera there?
No, I don't know. I don't much care who put it there. It was quite funny that they done it. It got rid of that toad. I don't much
wasn't
care
it?
aside from that. It's a bit of a dog thing that he's cheated on his missus and she was cheating on her husband. They both got 3 kids, but that's down to
Yeah.
them. As I've said with most things, each to their own. It's not my job to police what other people do.
It was a funny out though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was hilarious. It really was. Literally was just hilarious. Now, something else I want to say about this stupid thing that we've got here with the restrictions removing, when really they should remove every restriction full stop and then create laws that ban all of this bullshit from ever coming back. But they're planning to keep the Public Health Act that they use to enforce the lockdowns. So that's going to remain in place, which means obviously we could end up right back to square one, right back to where we already were. And that is
I think
concerning.
they're just going to use lockdown for a knee-jerk reaction to pretty much everything now.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, because doing that now after they've done the rollout and all of this, and they've told people that the rollout was the way out, it becomes politically unviable for them because of people will just ignore it. They may not necessarily go out and protest in the millions, but millions will just be ignoring it. They'll just be going around their friend's house. They'll just be doing this. I mean, during most of the last 2 lockdowns, for sure, most people around in London that I see were just ignoring it and going about their business. They didn't care.
Up north, it was a little bit different. A lot more mask wearers up north than I saw in London, to be honest.
There was a
Or at
few
least
down
in
here.
the cities. In the cities, I should say. The further away from the cities you get, the less it seemed to be an issue.
But as the days and weeks went on, there was less people there. Shops around near me, for instance, didn't enforce it at all. Not once. Not once did they enforce any mask this, mask that. They weren't masked. You know what I mean? There was no screens
none
up.
of the shops near me were trying to force people to wear them.
Yeah, like there's not a few of the shops, good few of the shops near me had no screens or nothing up. So they were already not really listening to what the government was saying. I guess because they spent most of 2020 without those restrictions, and they considered themselves fine. So they had taken enough mitigation and they left it at that. Now, obviously,
which is a choice you should be allowed to make, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. You got to make your own choices about your own health and safety at the end of the day, as everyone always has done throughout history.
You should be assessing your own risks.
Yep, that's right. That is, everyone should be assessing their own risks. I assess my own risks every day about everything. Every time you step outside the house or go anywhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, furthermore, with all of this, apparently they've removed or starting to remove this traffic light nonsense. You know, the one where certain countries are green. Yeah, for travelling abroad. Certain countries are green, other ones are amber, some of them are red. So if you're like in the shit kicker red list, you end up with hotel quarantines and all this bollocks, like in your little hotel camp. It's not even an hotel. It should just be called a COVID prison camp or something like that, because... Have you seen them? The video of the one who was trying to talk to someone outside the fence and had the staff come over and tell him, "Oh, you can't do that." It's like, what? Don't tell me what I can't do. Of course I can speak to people, but yeah, that's not a hotel camp. That's a bloody prison sentence, if you ask me. In fact, prisoners are allowed to talk to people on the outside, so that's even lower.
It wasn't just that was so bad. I mean, obviously, being put in a prison camp is not good. No. But remember the rush from Portugal when they just changed the to red or to amber while the people were there already.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've done it with a few countries.
Home. How much money did people have to fork out to get back? That was a disgrace.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have bothered going on holiday, in all honesty, with the shit show going on.
I wouldn't personally.
No, I would have just not bothered. I would have not bothered in the slightest. I'd have been like, fuck. It's
still not good, though, is it? To pretty much strand your people abroad.
No, you shouldn't have to do it. You shouldn't have to do it at all. Right, and well, finally, we better talk about the possibility that masks and working from home could return, which is essentially back to January 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Is that not lockdown? Exactly what it is. And masks again, mandated by the government, once again back to 2021 before.
Yeah, we're going right back to the beginning.
Summer. So much for irreversible, Boris? We always
feels
knew that
like
was
a
Boris.
rinse repeat, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, the whole year has been a rinse repeat. They'll do things, they'll make mistakes, they'll cock it up, and they'll go, you know what? We'll do it again in the hope that it'll work this time. True idiots.
Where